The Jenn Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, is an inspirational hour that'll take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jenn Royster is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Imagine having the ability to use your innate positive energy to dissolve the stuckness in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, through this incredible dynamic show. Get ready to be transformed from Dr. Jenn's live guided healing meditations and intuitive readings, and unveil the power of connecting to spirit, the angels, and your higher self. Dr. Jenn is passionate about helping you find the answers you're looking for through an inward journey that'll strengthen your connection to spirit and help you trust your intuition. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jenn Royster.
Good morning and hello. Welcome to the show. We got a cool show today because this is about Saturn and going into retrograde, but it's also showing us how we can benefit from this and how we can grow and we can prosper. Saturn is known as a stern teacher and sometimes brings up those challenges in life. And the angels have been fantastic bringing information for this show today about how we can make the most of this and utilize this energy to reach our highest potential. So I really like this topic. Saturn, this is a Saturn retrograde in Pisces for 2023, and it begins on June 17th, so it's coming up, and it will run all the way to November 4th. So from June 17 to November 4, we'll have that energy in retrograde. Now, last week we talked about the overall for June, and June is about joy and lifting and really taking that side of life with hope and optimism and putting it in a more priority position in your life, not just on the back burner when you have time. You have to make time. And sometimes we have to push it to the top of the list so we can really benefit from this. We're also going to talk about how this works with 3D transitioning to 5D, because 5D is here, and we're going to work with that, with the angels, and what they're saying about how to make this an easier transition, how to make what we go through, we want to grow through. And I love, 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 love that. Grow through what you go through. How about that? Yep. I've seen that many, many times. I have no idea the origin of that, but I absolutely love it because that is choosing when life challenges you to see it as, oh, what can I learn from this? And grow through it, become stronger, become more aware, become more of who you are. So this is what we're talking about today. I love, love, love it. I want to welcome everyone to the show. We do have the live chat open on YouTube while we're streaming live. And I just want to say, oh, good morning. We have someone already here. And thank you so much. Thank you, Journey to Becoming Me. You are such a blessing. And you always touch my heart when you help us so generously each and every time, because it really keeps me encouraged too. You guys have no idea how much you give back to me. Sometimes I don't know who's getting more out of it, me or you. But I'm facilitating. We put this show out there to everyone in the world for free. We don't ask you to do anything, but there's a lot of you that have been with us for years that do choose to support us, and it really does help us, because I mean, we're paying the bills to keep it going, and you're helping us do that. So I just want to say thank you so much. You are a true blessing to us, and it will come back to you in the way you need it. So I want to say good morning to you and thank you. Now, let me get into this really cool topic, because I want to have some time at the end for a few reads if we have time. So let me, and I brought my stuff to paint them today, so I'm hoping we can get to that. Before we started the show, I had to reboot and reconnect everything because it just crashed. So we always record a backup to the backup just in case. So life is life, right? There it is. All right, so let's talk about what is this Saturn in retrograde in Pisces really going to be about. I told you it was going to be from June 17, which is just around the corner, June 17 to November 4. And it is known in astrology, Saturn is known as the master teacher or the stern teacher. And it's about bringing to the front, to highlight for you what you're learning and what you need to work with and what you need to grow through, things like that. It does bring things like that to our attention. The angels, however, are showing us how we can make this transition when we're going through Saturn stuff. I mean, life is challenging just to be there sometimes, but we're looking to find this to be smoother with a more optimistic perspective, to look at life, and when Saturn brings up the challenges or however they come up for you, how do we look at that from 5D versus the way we used to look at it, like, oh no, what's going to happen, what's going to come up? Now, I know many of you, if you're new to this thought of the shift from third dimension to fifth dimension, in these terms, in spirituality, in metaphysics, however you want to look at it, it does show that we're already in a 5D world. And if you really look at, it's just a way to explain what we're experiencing, really. There's different dimensions. They all simultaneously coexist together. So you will see 3D stuff out there, but it won't feel very comfortable. You won't want it anymore. Now, a lot of you might be feeling it like that. You might be feeling like, I'm just not okay with that anymore. That's because you're resonating more with a 5D world. You're resonating more with a higher frequency. This is a good thing. I know. It's like, that makes me more uncomfortable now. That's actually a good sign that you're growing. So what we want to do is actually work and embrace with 5D. Now, what is 5D also about? A lot of change. In just about everything we do in life, there's so much change. So, this is working with Saturn in Pisces, which is a spiritual kind of really getting you connected with things like your psychic abilities and really connecting with angels yourself, to really embrace this from a fifth dimension versus 3D, like where the fear is. Remember, 3D has the fear, the frustrations about the past or the future. 5D is living right here, right now. You don't worry about what was, that's gone, it's done. You don't waste any energy on that. Remember, we've been talking about it going back to the blank space in between. That's a good way to practice that. If you find you're getting anxious or feeling overwhelmed by something. Angels are here also too to help remind us too. I actually put that request into my angels and to Michael. It's like, hey, if I start going and slipping into that, will you send me a gentle reminder? And he does. And it's wonderful. And I don't have to keep asking for that. He just does. It's like, oh, remember, go to your mental, go to your center, go to your center. And as soon as I do that, all that goes away. I come back to my center and boom. For me, you might find you have certain things and activities in life that really bring you to your center. For me, it's being in nature. It's making things from scratch with my hands and being creative and painting. I love painting nature. I love painting animals in nature. I love painting the power animals. I love painting the flowers. I love painting people in nature. I just love nature. I love that we're part of nature. I like to connect it all together when I'm painting. And I also love growing organic things. I love to grow our food. I love to make things. I love to do everything that's as healthy as possible. That's just examples. I'm sharing what I do. What is it that you do? You may enjoy journaling. You may enjoy something else. You might enjoy volunteer work. Everybody's unique and everybody has that specialty. So here they're reminding us we're experiencing a lesson. And we want to think, I want to experience this challenge when they come up from 5D, not 3D anymore. That's the ticket right there. And I love it. This is a route. And when it does bring things up for you, you might feel that old 3D reaction, but you can nip it in the bud quickly. You can just go, no, not doing it that way again. I could sit here and worry and fret about that all day long, but that's just a waste of my energy. I want to work with this from a different perspective. The best way to do that is go to your center. Go to your center and just be in your now. Because 5D doesn't have a fear of past or present or future. Right. So there is where you want to go. So Saturn started, so let me give you a little bit about what it might bring up for you and how you can tap into that. It first started March 8th. So if you were to look back from March 8th to now, what's come up for you? What's been challenging? What have you figured out and worked through? What could you do better? That'll be a good clue for you to work with this energy. So Saturn travels, when it goes into retrograde in the sign of Pisces, it's typical for Saturn to go for a good 6 months into a sign like that. So this one's extra significant because it'll be in Pisces from March to, it's been in Pisces, now it's going to be in retrograde from June to November. And this one really heightens and helps us dive into what this master teacher is trying to bring us. What is it trying to highlight in our life? It is known to bring challenging lessons. This is the way to put it. Challenges in life. That's what Saturn's known for. But if you think about how we were thinking about that before in 3D, it was like, oh no, what's it going to bring up? Now it's look at it differently. It's more not what's happening to you, but the opportunity to learn and grow. I know. It'll push you. We don't grow when we're comfortable. I know. When we get a nudge, we get a little bit of a challenge, we try harder. We try to find a way to fix that or find solutions, things like that. That's the way to approach this. So that's how you reach your fullest potential with this one. When it's active, sometimes there's, intense awakenings that happen, and then there's rewards, and we step up to the plate and we work through it. Saturn's also about taking responsibility for your choices. You don't want to be afraid to make a choice. You don't want to find that you made a choice and it didn't work out as planned. Sometimes we just don't have that kind of control. But that's where you go back to your center, because the universe, your soul, is how you want to tap into that. The angels are completely very, very active for me right now, and they can be for you as well. You just want to welcome it in. I refer to them and include them in everything I do. It could be a simple task, just simple task of daily life, but they're a part of it. So they're like my group I hang out with, all the time. But they make it to where you don't feel alone. You feel supported. You have encouragement when you need it. And they give you exactly what you need at that moment. And they know when to bring it in, too. They'll remind you. They'll remind you gently. Sometimes you feel like they're nudging a bit hard, but sometimes we need it. If we're really, what causes that? The more we resist. The more you resist moving forward and you want to hold on to the old way, that's where it'll feel more bumpy and more uncomfortable. From the way I'm seeing this, it's to your advantage to just really get in there and go straight forward with it. Figure out where you need to create your boundaries. Where are you responsible in life? Where do you need to stand up for something? Where do you need to find your power, your authority in what your life is about? Okay, so it will take you through things like that. It guides you to look at, now we do look at past actions when you're in a retrograde with Saturn. You're looking at something from the past a few months ago, but we're not being stuck there. We're not beating ourselves up for it. You look at it to see, what did I avoid? What did I forget? Where do I need to set some boundaries or have a little more responsibility? That's what you're looking at. So if you were looking over the past few months, that's a great place to start. You may know exactly what's popped up for you. It could have been something very unexpected. It could have been some old stuff. It's usually something old that's just really in the way. So Saturn, that's Saturn in general, but Saturn retrograde in Pisces, that's going to be a little bit more, how have you grown? Look back a few months. Have you grown? Have you not grown? Where have you grown up and matured a little bit more? What lessons have come to the surface for you? That's what you're looking for. You might find past events from March of this year, 2023, resurfacing. That's to reassess and reevaluate them. So if you can think back that way, this is what journaling's so good for, because you know, if you don't recall it, you're like, oh yeah, that, or you lose track of time. Issues around creativity, limitations, do you have any blocks that are just holding you back? What about your emotional health? What about that? Has that had a little bump here and there? So that's what you're looking for. If you don't feel or resonate with any of that, then great. Not everybody will. But if it's going to bring anything up for you, it's usually going to be focused right in that area for this Pisces retrograde. So Saturn really wants us to be responsible for our actions. And that's how we plan, choose, take action to lead the life we do want. What is it that you want in life? We have to be taking responsibility and taking action for that. We have to step up to the plate for our own life. So that's what this is talking about. So if you're not going to want to do that, Saturn can make you confront that. So say you're avoiding that. It might feel like, oh, why won't that leave me alone kind of thing. Maybe we need to just go head to head with it and figure it out. Sometimes we just got to do that, because it'll help push you to find the steps you need to get past it, to get it out of the way. What's been holding you back? That kind of thing. We have really good energy going on. Remember, we have Jupiter for the whole year, so that can really help you with this too. We have a lot of hope and optimism in June right now with the Gemini energy. And we also just have this interesting combination, and then we bring this in. It couldn't be a better time, really. If you have to deal with something that Saturn can bring up, it's a good energy with all the other aspects to work on it. You may feel that you feel a little more empowered, or you feel a little more brave to just get out there and try it and go for it. Something that you were really hesitant to do before, and that you really want to do. And you don't want to feel like you can't try. You might try 10 times before something works. That doesn't mean failure. That means you're going for it. That means you're being real clear that you really want to go that way. And you don't want to give up. You don't want to try once and that's it. So some people don't try at all because they're afraid it'll fail. This energy can help a lot. Get past blocks. That's a block. To me, that's a block. And this can help you get past things like that. It can move a little slower, so it can require a little patience. And you might feel stuck or unsure. Don't worry about that. That will pass. Your angels are here. Your angels want you to know that looking at this from a 5D perspective is going to make all the difference in the world. Just practicing approaching it. And you can tell if you're worried and fretting and you're having that repetitive thought, you're back in 3D. And as soon as you realize that, you can go, you know what? This just doesn't work for me anymore. I'm not getting anywhere. And you just make that choice. Let me look at this from 5D and ask the angels to help you see it from 5D. And then just go about your day. You don't have to try to make it happen. You don't have to try to control that. The universe, your soul as part of this whole universe and connection, that's where all the answers are. But you get back to that when you go to that center and you're looking through the lens of more of a perspective from what's it like to live in 5D and not be afraid of all this stuff. Not to be afraid of change, or I don't know what's going to happen in a year from now, or I don't know how this will unfold. Fear of trying something because you don't know how to work out, you'll never get started. That's just old 3D stuff, and that's all the mental that we've been kind of used to from all these centuries and thousands of years, and in our own lifetime we've just been so used to living from this place of, but what if it doesn't work out, and maybe I need to plan all this, maybe I need to do all that. Well, 5D's really coming from a different angle on that, and it's like we don't have time for all that fret. We want to focus here, and it's actually very refreshing. It's actually easier once you start to practice it more And just an effort. It takes a second to go, wait, let me go back to my center and think about it. Let me go back to my center. And it's basically getting out of the mind and not letting the mind run everything on these limited programs that it has. So, here's some themes to look out for if you feel that you have Saturn giving you some challenges here and there to help you reach your fullest potential, right? So creativity or creative blocks, so anybody with that creative thing going on like that, like me with painting or art or any kind of creativity, if you feel that, it might pop up. Responsibility, or have you grown up in this area of life type of thing? What about balancing having a structured plan with spontaneity? For all of you planners out there, whoa, that one's interesting, right? Like, what about spontaneity and flow and like not irresponsible impulse? I don't mean that, but you have structure, you have a plan. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's good. But what if it veered off and went in a different direction because some cool idea came in? And you just went, you know what, this is a great plan, but I think I might change this in mid-course. Do you? Do you let yourself do that? Or are you very rigid about staying? This is showing you how to find a balance between the structure and spontaneity. Spontaneity is easier when you're in the center, at your ground zero, because you don't have all these thoughts trying to control it. And universe, your higher self, your soul, the angels, you can have that connection and hear that intuitive voice easier. You can, and Pisces, this is Pisces stuff here, it's even easier. So what about creating boundaries? Do you have enough boundaries? Do you have too many? Are they healthy boundaries? Are they weak boundaries? Okay, you're looking at that. What about limitations and restrictions? That would be, to me, it's like the old mental programming. But restrictions and limitations, what do you hold yourself back from? Because we have Jupiter, remember, Jupiter, expansive energy. We have a lot of good energy that's optimistic to get out there and go for it. So you might feel like, man, I really want to do this, but I'm not quite sure how to go. If you feel like you're struggling with the structure part or a plan, if you're used to having a big spreadsheet or something, nothing wrong with that. But what if that feels stuck? This would be a good time to practice going to ground zero and see if something else pops up with an idea. Yeah, I mean, utilize it. Utilize both. The goal here is to have your soul running the show and the mind helps you in this physical world. Implement it, bring it into manifestation, not the other way around where it's trying to keep it the old way. So you're just putting something else in charge, like your true self, your truest piece of you that is part of the whole. That's what you want to do. And the angels absolutely will help and remind you. They will not hesitate to remind you. Just ask them. So here's another thing. If it hasn't already, spiritual beliefs, what you believe in, what you don't believe in might come into question. You might be questioning it. Don't be afraid to question it. Don't be afraid to question anything, including everything that I give you. I'm sharing everything that I'm experiencing and that works and resonates for me, but I'm not expecting to talk everybody into it if that's not what's working for you. Because why is that? Because I believe we all find our own path. Some of it will resonate, some of it won't. My intention is, even if what I say doesn't resonate with you, it sparks creativity and interest enough for you to go seek what does. That's what I want for everyone. You want to feel your individuality at the same time you're a part of the whole and collective. And you want to know that these are the right choices and beliefs for me. And they may change as you grow. You might find that things that were really a big thing for you before, not so much anymore. It's changing, it's shifting, it's evolving. That's growing. That's evolving to something and more awareness. You don't want to hold that back. Sometimes people struggle with, I don't know, I'm kind of afraid. What if You know, is God going to get mad at me? I don't think so. I think the goal is to feel that closeness and connection, whichever way that works for you. And that's what I'm about. That's what I want for all of you. Emotions versus logic. Right. I know, like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, well, here's another thing. You go to that ground zero, it helps you a lot, especially with the emotions, because you're going to go to a space where there isn't anything connected to it, whether it's a belief, an emotion, like this is what I should or shouldn't do, you know, whatever it might be. It just takes you to this center, grounded center, so you are reconnected where everything originates and manifests. So that's what I'm saying to you. And I know I'm trying to say it in different ways, but honestly, you don't have to fret about there's a certain way to do this. You find the way that gets you there. I'm giving you some ideas. I'm giving you some suggestions. The thing is, you want to find what works for you. It could be slightly different. It could be the same. And mental health, how are you there? Saturn can bring that up and help you address that and deal with that. Where are you going with that? How is it? Okay, so we want to make things like this important because it brings up whatever it highlights for you is what your soul journey is bringing you to at this point in your life. Let's deal with this. Let's get this block out of the way. Let's work with it. Let's make it better. Let's pursue and grow through this. Let's grow through what you go through, right? Grow through it, not get stuck in it. That's the goal. So even if you feel like it's kind of tough or quirky here, when we work with Saturn, we can find ourselves opening up to potentials we never knew were there. This is a beautiful way to grow and go through things. I mean, you will find you reach new levels of being grown up, you know, maturity. You will, it's very rewarding to know that you have grown and you've bettered yourself like that. And just putting in that effort and seeing failures as opportunities to learn is a big one too. So sometimes we see failure it's like I'm just no good at that, and you're really hard on yourself. Where's some self-love here? You tried. That's impressive. There's so many people that don't even try because they don't want to, they're afraid it'll go wrong, so they don't even try. How do you know what your potential is if you don't try? And if you have to try 100 times, you try 100 times. There's no rule that says, oh, this person's better because they got it in a couple of times versus I got it in 50 times or whatever. It doesn't matter. This whole journey is a learning experience here. The whole thing. Saturn comes in to highlight some of the tipping points that can really catalyst us into a higher level and get us going, give us a boost. So there's a benefit here that I want to bring up that's so important. Now, while we're in the Saturn retrograde from June to November 4, or number 3, 4, what you're looking at is, okay, this is when I'm working on those lessons, but then once it goes direct again and starts to move forward in November, that's when you start to look for the rewards of all the work you're going to be doing now for the next few months. So make the most of that, right? So here's a couple of things you can ask yourself. If you journal and you want to really go, because you want to go introspect with this kind of stuff. So what's holding you back right now? That's one. What's holding you back right this time, right in this moment, within the last week, what you're trying to work on? These are questions to answer for yourself. You know, really explore the answer that comes to you on that. And if there's anything you can do to take responsibility for how that feels. Or, you know what? This is what's holding me back. What can I do different? And then tap into some energy with the angels and Jupiter to try something that will work. You know, this is where you can go with that. That's what I would do. What about what emotions hold you back? Do you have emotions that hold you back? Do you have any ways that you could work with those emotions in a more productive way, the ones you experience? We don't want to ignore our emotions. Emotions are a part of us in this world. But we want to utilize them so they support us, not pull us down and hold us back. Okay? How can you redirect that energy with those? So these are questions to ask yourself with this. So, more things you can ask yourself. Okay? What does your body need right now? What does your body need to support you with what you want to do? Where is it time to take responsibility? Okay? These are prompts that you can kind of ask yourself. How do you feel creatively inspired? What is it in your life that does that? What do you need? What does that for you? Do you know? Think about that. What is your emotional state right now? Things like this will help you really get into this one. So, now here's a couple of dates. Now that's that. And we're just about done here, and then I'll go over and we'll hang out and chat and see if we can do some reads for you. Now, because I want you to feel that connection. I want you to feel that connection. It's a lot easier right now, actually. It's really kind of cool. And I'm loving it. It's fun. But here's some dates that you might want to note during the Saturn retrograde. So March 7, we already had March 7, but March 7, that's when Saturn entered Pisces for the first time in more than 28 years. It began a new cycle, so it was a big deal. So that started in March. That's why we're saying what's been going on for you since March. June 17, that's where it'll go into retrograde. Okay. It's on the same day as the new moon there, so it'll heighten that energy too. Let's see. October 12 to November 27. Okay, a little bit of a span there. That's when Saturn reaches the 0 degrees of Pisces. That's the 0 point here to stir events and trigger the lessons. Okay, the rewards, things behind that. So that's in astrology, and that's, like if you don't understand astrology, it's basically a tipping point, highly karmic area. So that's what that is. November 3rd, that's when Saturn will station direct and move forward again. And then in February, that's when it will leave its post-retrograde shadow. It takes a little while. Saturn moves slower. So those are just some dates, and as we go through the year, we highlight these and things like that. Another thing that I wanted to mention before we move into this is, the show's been about astrology and angels primarily, and the reason for that is they work really well together, and that's what I know and I resonate with and how I communicate with them. I look for different things the universe energies have, and then I ask the angels, the archangels especially, like, hey, how can we work with this energy? So you always see angel insights on, because I'm telling you about astrology lineups, but I'm also looking at it from a soul healing journey perspective. I'm looking at what can we pull from this to make the most of this and work with this energy, not against it, and how can the angels help us with that? So when we go into doing some reads here in a moment, that's what I want you to think about. How can I work with the Saturn energy here with some things I have going on? And then we will ask the angels to bring those messages for you. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. I wanted to try to make sense of that. So I'm going to go over to the live chat to see what we have going on over there. Hi guys. Oh my gosh. All right. So So here we go. So first of all, I wanted to welcome, we have Aunt Karen. Good morning. We have Journey to Becoming Me. And thank you so much for your super chat benefit. Would you like a question? We'll go with you first. You have been such a supporter of the show. So do you have anything you would like to ask? I'm going to give it a moment. We have to wait for that delay part that happens. We also have, let's see, she's also saying, sometimes I wish I could just get some of this growing done while I'm taking a nap. Actually, you do. Actually, you do. That's, gosh, that's in our subconscious. We do a lot of growing. And honestly, you know, dreams are interesting because sometimes they're so metaphoric, but whatever we're not figuring out in our day conscious time, it will play out a lot of times. If there's this energy that's just circling around in there, it will come through dreams because it's still needing to process. And it will also tell you what you need to know about you, not all the other people in the dream or activity. You know, they're going to be about what you need to know, not what you need to know about what's going on with somebody else. So you got to keep it in-house, so to speak. So actually you do. Melissa, hello Melissa, welcome. My fave thing to say, grow through what you go through. I know. I love it. It makes me smile every time I see it. So I know, and I was having a lot of fun. I love to take time to find creative, inspirational pictures and different things that work with the topic of the show, and I loved it because it was this, and nature reminds me of this so much, and that's what I love about nature. So this was like a tree or a stump that had been just chopped down, and that little branch coming back up through. So it got cut down, it got whacked off, and then it just was springing up new life regardless. And I thought, what a perfect example. Nature, if you notice, nature works with the energy of the center or the ground zero that I've been talking about. It, the energy of the space in between, where you're not in the past or the present, you're in your now. It just keeps going. It goes through storms and floods and fire. It goes through everything, and it just keeps coming back. It just happens. You know, nature just keeps happening. It just does. We've been enjoying nature in our yard this past week. There's a lot of birds making nests everywhere, and one of them is a cute little mama sitting on her eggs in a big bougainvillea bush we have. And then we have another, we always have, and I know this is nature and speaking to me with the spirit animals, but we always have a couple of mourning doves that always hang out with us. Where we lived before, mourning doves. They're always right up close to the home. They like to make their nest close and hang out with us. And we were like, when we moved here, we thought, oh, we're going to really miss those mourning doves. Well, guess what? We have mourning doves again here, too. We have for a couple of years. They just made a nest in it's in the hurricane track. So we're hoping we don't have to close that or disturb it. But she's just so precious sitting in there. And they're the most gentle, sweetest birds. So we just have enjoyed that. And they followed us here. So we just love it. We love nature like that. We love what it says to us like that. So we live near a wildlife refuge. We lived near one before. So we have different kinds of wildlife here, but we just live it. You know, we feel it. I feel very connected. When I need to get to my center, that's where I go. I go right into nature. So let me see here. What do we got going on? I'm still waiting. You know what? I got it open, guys. I got it open for reads if you want. If not, that's okay too. We can just keep chatting. So what I want to know is if you have any questions. Do you have any questions about anything with this topic today that we're talking about with Saturn? Anything that I may have gone over that you might need some clarification on, things like that. Hello, Miss Sasha. There's Miss Sasha. We have doves that, oh, she's got doves too. We have doves that leave us twigs on the porch so we can feed them. Yes, they do. They do. They're just so precious. You have mourning doves too. Mourning doves, they're very special. They really are. They're so sweet. They mate for a lifetime too. And they're just so adorable. Mourning doves are always around us. This is Pamela. Hello, Pamela. I sing with them and they sing back. The birds are amazing and soothe my soul. Yeah, they just have a gentle coo. And just to hear them, they're just so gentle. I painted them. I painted the ones at the house we had before. I did like a pastel painting of them. And I don't know. They just special. The ones we have in the bougainvillea, that's a little bit different. Let me tell you what. Those are the mockingbird. And they are no joke. They are, but you know, when I look at it, I go, oh my goodness. I mean, we have watched the mockingbirds defend their nest and their babies, chasing hawks, and we have hawks and we have eagle here, the bald eagle, we have red-shouldered hawk, we have a lot because it's a wildlife area. They chase them fearlessly. They protect their babies. So yeah, it just whoa, right? I know. So let's see here. I just kind of was giving it a moment just to see if anybody had anything to say here. Let's see. Okay, Miss Sasha, I would love a reading, but I missed the beginning. Any message you have would be appreciated. That's okay. Let me give you a quick. We're working with Saturn. Saturn, the stern teacher. Any highlighted lessons? Think back from March to now. What's been highlighted? What's going on? What's a challenge for you? It brings up challenges that we can turn into lessons to reach our highest potential. If I had to say that quickly, that would be the way to say it. There you go. So that's what we're looking for, and that's what I'm asking angels for right now for you. Okay. So let's see. Oh, let me switch over. We'll pull up the other screen. Okay. All right. First of all, I like the color I already have. I have a deep purple. Purple is it's a very spiritual color. The Pisces energy is nudging at you to let go of some of your hesitation of trusting what you're picking up. Oh, wow, I'm picking that up. I'm also picking up, first of all, the first thing, I'm getting some shapes. So let me put this down. I got the heart shape. So I'm feeling fourth chakra, okay? I got an oil paint brush going on here. Don't you love it? Okay, the other thing that I was getting was the equal sign. Okay? Why aren't you drawing? Hello. There we go. Equals. Heart chakra. And then it was this equal sign. And I went, equal sign, interesting. So I'm listening here. I'm also getting it's the word trust. Oh, this is a very different read for you. I'm getting something you need to trust about what you're picking up. You're like, this is what I want it to be. I don't know if I can believe in that or not. That's what I'm picking up. And I'm asking for clarity here. Michael is bringing up, it's an action you need to take to move forward. You have felt stuck. It's not a long-term stuck. It's more of a recent stuck. Does that make sense? Please tell me if that's making sense, because boy, what a different one. So it's in the fourth chakra, your heart chakra, your passions, your truest self. Equals, it needs to trust what your heart is saying to you, and it's not going with the logic that you're used to, is what I'm picking up. Let me know if that makes any sense for you, because that's crazy. All right, hello. Let's see, we got Kelly and Emro. Let's see. Hello, Jen. I do a lot of work with Saturn in my personal life. Any for how to balance these retrograde energies? All right, first of all, let me go back. Let's do, A new one? Okay. I got to get a different color. What I'm feeling for you is a calming color. I feel a lot of high energy, like when you get excited. This is what I'm picking up, and I just got to go with it. When you get excited, I'm feeling a calming blue. So let me go with that one. I also need a different brush. Let's try this one. So what I'm picking up for you is it's more of you have a lot of excitability where when you go, and it's almost like it goes so fast that it can feel like it's tripping. So what I'm feeling is you're looking for, I know, it's kind of representing some really weird looking waves, right? I know. But what I'm feeling is you're looking for a calm stillness where when you get excited about an idea, and this is what it's saying, when you get excited, it's more like you take a deep breath, use this color if colors work for you. It just seems like colors would work for you. Use a calm, soothing blue color. Think of a body of water that's a beautiful color of blue. Close your eyes and just blend into that stillness. And the reason that Michael is bringing this up, this has a lot to do with where you want to go in life. It slows your roll enough to where you can get grounded and make a clear approach versus tripping and stumbling on it too fast. It's something that you just get super excited. It's not trying to take your excitement away. It's a way, and this is coming from Michael. He's saying it's a way to channel this energy to be more productive and trickle out in a balanced way where you're productive and it's more successful. I mean, wow. That was an interesting read too. How cool was that? I hope that makes sense. So with these retrograde energies, it's going to highlight those areas where this calm blue stillness is going to help you. And just having something to come back and think to will help you with your balancing with that. Because Saturn energy is just no joke. But these are lessons that we have to go through. So I hope that makes sense. Pamela. So let's see. Pamela, I took a leap of faith and left a job that I used to love, but it became real stressful. I feel I made the best decision and was offered a job that feels healthy. Were my guides behind this? Yes, absolutely. I had no hesitation with that answer because they were right there. They were They were right there. Absolutely. I felt no hesitation with that. Sometimes we can second guess something we know is right for us, okay? Sometimes we can second guess knowing that. So what I'm getting for you, here we go, is a green. A green means absolutely. It's a green, and what I'm feeling is you have this never-ending energy of green, and what that means is it's flourishing. It's new for you. It's new. And sometimes we feel like we make a huge decision. We make a huge decision and we go, oh my gosh, did I make the right choice? That's just the mental. That's the mental second guessing because it's used to what it did do and what it knows. Take yourself back to that ground zero we were talking about, that middle blank space in between, and just simply be and ask the angels. It's like, I know it felt right for this decision. And sometimes you'll find that there's a few decisions that you'll make in life. One leads to the next. But this one is more of a settling in and trusting, yeah, you made the right decision for yourself. But at the same time, you're growing in it and it's still new. And the branches and it needs to still grow and flourish and put out the new branches. And one branch may lead to something else. And it feels transitional. And at the same time, it feels like this is a place of growth for you in a big way. You've been through some pretty tough times in your life, I feel. But this is a growth time, but it'll feel so new and different and sometimes stressful, sometimes not. And then at the same time, when you look back, it's like, I know I made the right decision. It could be that this is the right decision for now and it will change later, or it may stay. But there's something that it will lead to, and you'll know when that happens. You may not know what that is yet. You don't. And here's the thing about going into 5D energy and staying in your blank space in the in-between. We don't have to worry about knowing what that is right now. We just want to be in this immersion of what we are in now to grow and learn through it. So that's how that works. It's kind of interesting how, because sometimes we're going, okay, I made this decision, but was that the right one? And you might not know for a month, a year, a couple of years. I honestly don't have that answer. I feel that you just need to embrace and grow and learn as much as you absolutely can with where you are right now. And that's what the green's about. It's like grow and learn, grow and learn. You're going to gain some skills here that are going to be very, very valuable for you moving wherever you move next, whether it's staying where you are and moving up into a different position or moving somewhere completely different. But there's benefit here that you're learning for you. So if you were to look at it with that perspective, that would be a great way to work with Saturn energy. And the green came up really strong for you, so you're in a growing phase. I hope that made sense. Wow. I always ask that because I'm just throwing it out there the way I'm seeing it, and sometimes it's probably sounding really weird, but okay. All right, let me keep going here. Kelly, oh, you're welcome. Absolutely. I'm definitely excitable and I love a calmer approach. There you go. Well, that one was for you, right? Whatever you want, a mental picture. If you have to put it up on the wall to remind you, or a little something, like a nice, calm, beautiful ocean or scenic something, anything. Journey to becoming me. I had a huge lag on my computer and sorry. Thank you so much for everything. Oh no. Oh, okay. Well, we love you, girl. And no apologies here. We just know that you are a part of us. You're part of our family. Let's see, Mashasha, not sure. I've been contemplating what to do career-wise. That's going back to her reading. Because I haven't experienced what my passion is. I've also been trusting myself more and not filtering myself to make others comfortable. That's good. That's good, but it's okay that you're not sure yet. You're contemplating because you're still reaching for more. Jupiter energy, reach for that expansion energy. Whatever feels hesitant is what Saturn will pick up for you and highlight. So you have Jupiter, you have Saturn energy going, okay, not sure you haven't experienced what your passion is. You know what? I just want to say something about that. Believe it or not, a lot of people feel that way. They can be doing all the things they love and they feel like there's still something. Why? The entire lifetime here is the journey. You might go through so many different things. You might love this right now and love this right now. For example, it took you a while to make a decision to move, and then you finally did. Remember when you moved to a new state? Well, I just remember that with you. You moved out west. Well, that was big. And at the same time, you probably got there and there was more challenges and there was something else. But you went there because you knew that was right for you in the time. And here's the thing. You might be feeling like I've learned as much as I can learn here. It's not moving anymore. That might be what's prompting you to move again. It might be that you have a few moves in you. Sometimes we travel. I've lived in a lot of states. Oh my gosh, I've lived in a lot of different places. Remember, and the other thing is, our identity, I said this last week, our identity is not what we do, but it's our soul. It's our truest self. And that's where you connect with that in the blank in between. That's where you're going to connect with that the most. So I really wanted to point that out because I have known you for a while and I have seen you grow exponentially. It's amazing. I feel honored and privileged to have been a part or been allowed to watch you grow and flourish. And I know there's days that don't feel so flourishing. We all have them, absolutely. I feel sometimes, and this is coming from Michael, and he's really kind of doing this, and it's not the fuss, it's like you feel very isolated in that, like it's always happening to you at times, and that's not the case. You have challenges that you came here with your lifetime contract to, you really put it out there to grow like crazy in this lifetime. And you absolutely are. I see it. The angels see it. The universe knows it. Your soul knows you're doing it. It's your mind, your mental, that wants to work on believing it. It's almost there. It's getting better because you're not filtering yourself. So, but to believe it. And no matter what you're doing from one day to the next, some will feel passionate, some won't. Sometimes people spend their entire life, I don't know what my soul purpose is. Our soul purpose is to live this lifetime and continually grow. And it could change and evolve into so many different things. And sometimes that pressure of, but I don't know what, I should be doing this, or should be doing that, or should be doing this. I feel that too. I'll feel that it takes me back to where I was at times. And I like sharing experiences and just being real with you guys and kind of unfiltered here, really. I never use a script. I have a topic we're talking about, but not like word for word scripting here, because I want this to be real. I want you to feel like you have a connection with someone that can understand life here is challenging. Life here challenges us to keep continually reaching, expanding. I think you might be picking up, this is what Michael's saying to me, and I'm really going deep with this one, but it feels like he's saying to me that that feeling of you haven't found it yet is more of the nudge to keep growing, because there's so much more in there. And it's not that you don't feel discouraged. Actually, I don't know what I would do if the nudge stopped. Honestly, I always feel the nudge, constantly. And I think it's good to feel that, because if you didn't feel it anymore, you wouldn't have this initiative to push and learn and grow. So you're a lifetime student. I admit I am too, but you are definitely a lifetime student for deeper meaning to life. And that's the way I feel it and see it for you. So if you resonate with that or not, that's okay, but that's what I pick up. So, okay, she's saying, yep. And you are welcome, Pamela. It's exactly how I feel about growing, learning, green. Spot on. Awesome. So with that, I'm going to stop now because we are right at noontime. I just want everyone to know that no matter where you feel, whether you feel stuck, whether you feel challenged, whether you feel, I'm not sure, or you feel like, why haven't I feel satisfied yet with what I'm doing? It's because we're still growing and expanding. Right now, moving from 3D to 5D, honestly, is a priority as far as I'm concerned. It's like, I'm finding that the more I practice being in 5D, that's where more creativity, more fearlessness of just trying different things, or growing and learning and changing and not being afraid of it, all of those things, it's just so much easier there. So I'm really putting a lot of emphasis on sharing that with you, because in just a short amount of time of like trying something different, it feels like a short amount of time, but you feel like you've been doing it your lifetime. But this is actually evolving. All these things that we've been talking about for years, we're really practicing living it now, and it moves faster. So I want everyone to know the possibilities are endless. The angels bring support to us when we are working on being in our center. And we're working from that place of not being stuck in the past or future. They help remind us. They help support us to work on being in 5D now, because that's where it's at. It's, and you can tell when you're not. And when you are in 5D, things that used to be okay with you are just so uncomfortable now. You need to smile and not feel better than somebody else. Don't feel like that. Just let it be. You don't have to control everything. There's a lot of things we don't. Actually, do we control anything at all? When you go to your center, you're going to find that there isn't anything to control. There is all about being connected and going with those inspirations from your intuition and letting your true voice come through and guide you step by step. And for people that are used to knowing, okay, I need to know 3 months down the road, or I need to have a plan, or I need, it feels a little weird, but it's great to practice it and bring the balance in. So if you're feeling that a little bit, that might be Saturn bringing things like that up for you guys. I just want to say a big thank you to God. Thank you to each and every one of you. I want to have a big thank you and big hug and shout out to Journey to Becoming Me. She has supported the show. Thank you so much for your donations. Guys, you guys can do that. We provide the show for free. For those of you that feel inspired, you can help support us so we can keep paying the bills and things like that, and we appreciate it every time. I just want each and every one of you to know that you are important, and from a perspective of moving forward, don't give up on yourself. Don't feel discouraged when the challenges come in. Just know they're there to help you prosper and become more of your greatest potential. So with that, I will say goodbye, and I will see you next time here on the Jenn Royster Show. Namaste.
You've been listening to the Jenn Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life. Dr. Jenn Royster is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Imagine having the ability to use your innate positive energy to dissolve the stuckness in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, through this incredible dynamic show. If you've missed any part of this show or any other show,